Hi guys, this is a Ultraboost Game of Thrones, the red female version, but I bought the size that I can wear, and I don't actually like the white Ultraboost systems, the midsole, so I'll show you how you can actually change it. And basically, you just follow these a few steps. With the first one, in order to kind of take the little bit off the shininess of the midsole, I used kind of a older lacquer thinner. It kind of mildly wiped it with a rag. You must not hold it for a long time because the lacquer thinner tends to melt plastics. You can probably use something similar to surface cleaner. That'll also work. It's actually probably safer to use the surface cleaner. And then I use this spray can Bulldog Adhesive Promoter on the actual midsole so that the paint will stick after. And with this stuff, it's very easy to use. You just take the can. It doesn't have a bowl inside to make, so I kind of shake it a few times, and then I spray it on the actual midsole. And what I do is this, kind of watch out because it sprays in a flat line, so you kind of watch where the upper line is. And I already did this once and I painted it, but I'm just going to do it a second time to make sure that the paint sticks. You don't need to worry if you get a little bit on the actual material or the upper, I mean the cloth. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to damage anything. This is just like kind of a glue to hold the paint. So you do this, and then I use this leather dye from Fiebing's. I bought from Amazon. And I take a normal paintbrush. You have to wait maybe for a couple minutes, about 80-degree temperature for the promoter to dry a little bit. And then basically you just kind of go over it. You have to be really careful because this thing is very liquidish and it'll go over stuff and you may end up painting yourself. So you know, you just have to be really, really careful how you do it. So this is after one coat of paint, but this is the actual second coat. I did a adhesive promoter first, then I did one coat of the leather dye, and then I did one more coat of the surface promoter, and now this is the second coat. I believe it's going to need one more. This paint is matching pretty good. It's the ox blood leather dye. There's another red that you can buy, but I think it's a little bit different. It's more like kind of pinkish, but I think this is going to match perfectly. I'm going to do one more coat of this. I'm not going to do any more promoter. And then I'm going to finalize, or actually I'm going to start doing the final stage, which would be a surface scratch protector. I need to finish the second shoe, but this is how the first one looks after one coat of surface preparator, then dye, then another surface promoter, and 2 coats of the dye. Looks pretty good. It's probably going to need some more coats, and those coats are going to be mixed in different stages with the surface and scratch protector, which I'll probably do in a couple seconds after the shoes are dry. I'm gonna do this second shoe with the promoter again. This actually has a promoter, 1 coat of promoter and 1 coat of dye. This is the second one just to kind of seal the deal. And again, just really carefully kind of use the upper line of the spray or the actual stream of the spray, and try not to go too much over the actual midsole. Basically that's it. It kind of changes. I guess there's some kind of a reaction with the dye, so it changes a little bit. So no worries. It's just part of the process. You leave it for about 5 minutes to dry, and then I'm going to start dyeing it. The promoter should be dry by now. It's about 80 degrees outside. I've given it about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to start dyeing it. This would be technically a second coat, but it's actually first promoter, dye. This is a second time promoter. Now this is a second dye. And again, you use your brush. You kind of go over it slowly. Try not to go left and right because the dye tends to spray sideways. You may end up messing something that's around you. Try to use it in an environment that you're not going to mess anything else, because this dye is very diluted. And again, just kind of carefully use the texture and the surface to go with your paintbrush. I did 2 coats. It's kind of dyeing a different shades, but there's nothing to worry about. You just need to wait for a little bit for the dye to dry. You can do probably 3, 4, 5 coats just to kind of get it the same color over the Ultraboost midsole. And final step, guys, even though it's not actually a final step, you have to do this maybe 4 or 5 times, but it is the final stage. You have to use this Raleigh Restorations scratch resistant sealer. I've tried other products and I haven't been able to find anything else that works better than this. But you use this as, you take a different paintbrush, you actually put it on the midsole section. It's interesting because the dye is having a reaction, but that's alright. You do this. I believe this is going to be the actual original color. And again, you use a different paintbrush. These brushes are going to get contaminated with these different dyes, so you have to clean them with water. The most important step is with this stuff, the paintbrush, you do one coat of this. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I just want to show you how it's done. Then you take a hair dryer and you blow it. You take a normal hair dryer, you blow it on the actual surface to get it dry on the scratch sealer. You have to make sure that it's spread evenly, because otherwise it's going to dry in these spots and you're going to be able to see there's kind of too much of a sewer material in the actual cracks. This is specifically about this Ultraboost system because it has all these different cracks. This material gets to kind of pile up in the cracks, so you have to make sure that it's spread evenly. So you do this one time, you do the protection sealer, then you go back and you get your dye. You dye again and you paint over the sealer. And I believe this is done about 3 to 4 times so that there's a solid base where the sealer would protect the paint and it'll stay. So this is the actual color, the original color of what it looked like. It was just getting, I guess, a reaction with the surface promoter, but that's how it's going to look. It's pretty solid. I've used it on a different shoe, and the most important thing is it's flexible, it doesn't come off, and I believe this is the only way that I've managed to paint my midsoles to make them work. Now again, this is specifically on the Ultraboost system. On different shoes it may not work in this way. I definitely recommend this product, and this is the only thing that's going to protect your dye, because if you use just the dye, that dye is not going to stay on the shoe. And again, these coats here, you have to do at least 3 times. There's an instruction video on the Raleigh Restorations website to watch actually before you start doing it, or you can find them on YouTube. They have those videos on YouTube. So that's pretty much it. I hope this works for you. You may want to try it on a test shoe before you actually try a shoe that you like, to kind of gain some experience. Again, this is pretty much, that's what it should look, even with the next coat. So let me know if you have any other questions. I'll try to answer them. Thank you. Well, just to finish the story, as I was dyeing the shoes last night, and I finished the red color. Pretty much I did, I believe, 4 coats or 5 coats of red, and then the scratch protector on the midsole. It kind of looked dull to me, and I see these gold accents all over the place. So I had this little spray can, which is pretty much a gold paint, and I said I'm just gonna kind of spray it over the red to kind of match the rest of the colors, kind of give it a little bit better, more prestigious look, I would say. And I believe I'm happy with the results. I taped the shoes. Now this one is a little bit more shiny. You can see the gold because I haven't put the scratch protector yet, the Raleigh Restoration scratch protector. On this one I did, so make sure that you remember that every time you put the scratch protector, the paint is going to look a little bit dull because it's a flat. It ends up being like a flat protector or a flat coat. So this one, I just taped it, I just painted it. Basically I wouldn't call it a paint because I sprayed from about, I would say, 10 inches, 12, 13 inches away in a really cloudy way that you only kind of missed it. You don't want to paint it actually gold. You just kind of missed it, and you know, you can still see the red, but there's a little bit of a gold sparkle. And this is how pretty much this is done. You can do it in any other shoes. And the only thing I have to do now is I have to put the scratch protector on this shoe, so it's it'll look like this. But I'm happy with the result. I believe this is a much better looking shoe than what it was before with the white midsole. Well, let me know what you think about this, and I would be glad to help or answer any questions you guys may have. And I hope you try to customize your shoes. Thank you.